We are delighted to have you, Leo Hackl, with us today. With his own psychotherapy practice based in Zurich, Switzerland, and more than 2 decades of experience in psychological counseling, he specializes in guiding individuals through various challenges, including but not limited to addressing unwanted behaviors, navigating uncertainties in pursuits, managing trauma, anxiety, and depression. Greetings and a warm welcome, Mr. Hackl.
Thank you.
So, can you share a brief overview of your life journey and introduce yourself?
I was born near Zurich, grew up here, went to high school, and after that to the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology to study architecture. I graduated in architecture and worked for some time as an architect, not very long. My father had a company, a gardening company, and he wanted me to enter his company, to continue it when he stopped working. I didn't want to. I had other ideas, but he managed to convince me, so I did that. But I was very unhappy in the construction area because people, the way they behave and the way they speak, it was not my kind of speaking, and I didn't feel it very at ease. So I tried to change something, and as I did a lot of sports, I was in early age. Then after that period, I became a coach, and I went to the sports school of the Swiss Federal Sports School at Mappingen. And I was talking a lot about psychology because at the studying architecture in the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, you had to choose 2 hours a week in a humanity field, 2 hours. But you were free to choose one. I chose psychology and music. I wanted to become a musician. I'm very fond of music, but the psychology was very fascinating. It was a virus that ran deep, really. So when I had the instructions to become a coach, I talked a lot about psychology, and they said I could take over that formation of the coaches in psychology, which I didn't, because I said I'm not so much psychologist. I didn't study it, and they said you call someone who knows a lot about that, maybe a psychoanalyst. I found one, and he gave me the advice to make a therapy and maybe to study psychology as well. And I did both of them. And my therapy was very hard. I suffered a lot. And I didn't, well, I knew one day I would become a psychologist. I was very fond of psychology. But I didn't want to make my clients suffer as I suffered. So I chose short therapy, which came up at that time. And I did systemic hypnotherapy. Family, for example, is a system. I didn't do family therapy, but systemic therapy. Yeah, you're working with a person, and the person is member of a system, for example, a family or a company. If the person changes behavior, it changes the whole system because they have to adapt the new behavior of the member of the system. So you're treating the whole system as well.
So you talked about how you were a swimming coach or a coach in general. And could you give some valuable insights and advice on how young people can navigate and cope with the pressures they face in their pursuits?
The main cause of pressure is how you think about things. People don't suffer from the surroundings or from what is happening, but they suffer from how they think about it. And that is very difficult to manage because the thoughts, they just appear. You don't know why, and you cannot stop them. So you can only think of one thing at once. You cannot do two things at the same time, except human. They, they do multitasking. No, it doesn't exist, that multitasking. But many women think they can. Okay, they do one thing and then they change, but it's time sharing. It's not multitasking. So you can use this. It's impossible to think of two things at once. So they should have an object they can think of and concentrate on that. And the best object is the way they love the sport they do. They don't do this sport to win Olympic medals. They do it because they love it. What are the nice things about my sport? The camaraderie, the workouts, when you're successful, and then, oh, I had success here, I had success there, and then start thinking of the successes you had. And that can help a lot. But of course, it's very individual. Everyone is different from the other. But I would suggest to do that. Think of what you love and think of your successes you had.
What comes to my mind right now is that with digital lives that has been, or social media that has been heavily influencing the world right now, it is more and more harder to not chase after money and fame, because that is, yeah, what the majority of younger people that are on social media see every day. And so do you think that this also had an effect in the uprising mental health struggles?
I think, unfortunately, it has. You shouldn't watch too often social media. No, it's not good for your mental health. Watch what you believe or what you don't believe. It's very difficult. So at the moment with artificial intelligence, they can make you believe anything they want. Myself, for example, I don't trust anything I see in social media. You never know if it's true or if it's just fake. And I think the bigger part of it is fake. You should just be aware of that. The most things you see and hear are fake.
It is quite difficult for the younger generation.
Yes, they interact with each other through social media, and yeah, people say the young are always watching they're always watching some screen, and they don't interact with others. they don't meet each other anymore. They are lonely, and I think it's not true. It's another way to meet each other. It's not everything is bad about social media, but you have to choose carefully. Be aware of the possibilities to make you believe some fake.
So continuing with the young kids, what characteristics, skills, or experiences do you believe are beneficial for those younger people to cultivate during their to enrich their lifestyles?
Yeah, the parents, the grown-ups, they should be an example for them. Show them that by not being part of this consuming generation, you can be happy as well, or even happier. But as we know, they have to make their own experience. My experience is not the experience of my kids. It's as simple as that. And of course, experience is, you cannot have it for nothing. It has its price. But that makes them learn something. I think we have to accept that. I've read the about the life of what is his name? He's a billionaire. And his father he was very kind to him. He was doing very odd things, bad things, really. And he said, "Oh, you have done that. Don't do that again." Very kind, friendly. Don't do it again. And it made a much deeper impression on him than if he had shouted at them, "You're crazy, you shouldn't do that." That's, yeah. Tell them very calmly and very friendly, "Don't do that again. It's not good." They would rather believe that than when you shout at them.
I want to ask, like, how do you or when do you know that someone should seek for help? Because sometimes you don't clearly see a point where your kids start to act up or your friend starts to get worse.
Yeah. That is really delicate. Really, you have to be very careful because when they ask for help, it's okay to give advice. If they don't ask for advice, just ask them questions and try to ask the questions in a positive way. How did you manage when you were successful? Then they start thinking and finding solutions. If you say you did that wrong and you should look for help, you have resistance. You're making resistance. Hey, you once managed that. How did you do that? And then they have to think, how did I do that? And they find solutions. And it's their own solution. And that's the best way to give advice. Of course, it's not easy to ask the correct questions and then and not give them pressure. They should ask when they have an answer, a quick answer. Don't ask the next question. Just try to deepen it. So gives the thing time to develop. That would be my advice. Ask the good things they have done. At the moment, something is not working, but you had make them work. One day you did it, you were successful. How did you do that at that time? That will change a lot.
I know sometimes when you carefully suggest seeking for professional help, that a lot of people they carry a stigma and they think it is negative, and that when they go to therapy, that it shows that they are weak or flawed. So how would you deal, or do you have any advice that you can give to maybe make that easier for someone to suggest professional help?
It depends on the way you present it. What the help, what does it mean? When you decide to go for help, you're very courageous. That's great. So you give it the image of being something very beneficial, and of that the decision shows how strong they are. And that's really true. It's not a lie. They try to make progress. That's very good. Hey, you agree? You want to progress. Okay. Let's find somebody who knows your problems, who is experienced with that, and let's listen what he would suggest. And if he's good, he will ask questions.
Also, hypnosis therapy carries a stigma. A lot of people think that it's either fake, like in the shows, that people there are just acting, or they might be afraid that you will lose all your control and say or do something that you have no idea about.
Yeah. Today, many want hypnosis because they think it's like magic. And it's not. Mm-hmm. Hypnosis is not a kind of therapy. It's an additional help. A good therapy should make the person that comes to therapy, should make them have the experience of behaving differently. If they know a solution, if the therapist proposes a solution, do that and that will not work. Because the brain is not in the condition to resolve the problems, because the problem is mainly starts in very early childhood, when the brain development is at its beginning. There is no mind there. So what they experience there in the first 5 years, they learn a lot more than in the whole rest of their lives. But it's not stored or saved in the brain, but in the body. There is body memory. It's very well studied.
Reflexes.
Body memory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, if you're working, doing something, and then you need, let's say you're cooking, I need some oil, and it's on the other side. You turn and look there and say, what did I want? Wait. Turn back. Oh, the oil. That's body memory. When you have a dream, very clear in all colors, and you know the people you meet in the dream, and you say, well, tomorrow I will write it down. I cannot forget this dream. And then you turn to the other side to go on sleeping. Where is the dream? Turn back. Oh, here it is. That's one part of the body memory. And things that are saved in the body memory, they show up as reflexes. And the reflex takes 12 thousandths of a second. And if you have learned something, you say, oh, I should do this and that, that takes a whole second. You're not fast enough. The brain is not fast enough. So you're exposed to this reflex. You cannot do anything. So if you had experienced that in a different way, you would be a different person. That means experience things as a living person changes things. And hypnosis is a help for that. Because they are doing experiments to find out what is hypnosis really. So they give them an object to hold in the hand to feel it. They don't see it. They feel the size, the temperature, the form, and in the brain scan you see a little part of the brain that is active. There it is processed. Then you put it away, and they imagine how this feels in the brain scan. It's another part of the brain that will be active, that has a high, elevated blood flow. You can see that. Then you make hypnosis. He's in a trance, and he should imagine it once more to find out what is the third part. Where is it now? There is no third one. It's the first one. It's like it is real. So that is an experience, and that changes. So hypnosis is just to support, to experiencing as to experience the thing as being real, as happening right now. That is the purpose of hypnosis. Of course, hypnosis has a placebo effect. People are expecting who knows what, everything. Hypnosis can do everything. No, cannot. But there is a placebo effect, and yes, you can, in trance, tell somebody he will not smoke anymore. And he knows he has done hypnosis to stop smoking, and he might stop smoking. Many of them. Unfortunately, they restart smoking after half a year or a year.
So as I understand it, basically, you in hypnotherapy, you can relive, or not relive, but
experience
your past experiences as real again, and you guide them through this experience again, so you experience it differently, not as traumatic as when the first time you experienced it.
No. The experience you make in the first years of your life are saved in the body. And they influence how you react if something appears, something happens. And what is saved as well is what should have happened but did not happen. That sounds a little bit strange, but it's easy to explain. For example, I saw an
Comics?
Yeah, comic. Yeah. The father, that high. The boy in front of him, very small. And he shouts at him, but it was in German, and he said, you're worth nothing, you're a bum. And he grew up, he continued shouting at him. And when he was designed big, he had the form of a bottle and was green. And the father never wanted that, but he couldn't do differently. He just was exposed to that. His life was, his father did the same with him. So he repeated it. Just his reaction was different. He said, oh, father, I show you that I'm not a bottle, that I'm not a nothing. And he was, he made effort to show him that the bottle was him and not himself. And he became very good, very strong, very experienced. And the father wanted just that, because every living being wants his breed or his children to become good, to become happy, to love life, and that they want to have a breed as well, becomes happy, successful, loves life, and so on and so on. That's a fundamental drive of species conservation. And that is in every living being, this drive for species conservation. So the most important thing for any living being are the children, his breed. And his father, he would have preferred to act differently. He just couldn't do it. He would have loved to kneel down and show the boy how he should resolve the problem with this machine, that it is running perfectly and they both enjoy it. And if he had done that at the first moment, he said, you're a bottle, he would have become a very different person. And that is saved as well. It has no results because it did not happen. But it's like an it's like a credit. You have it, but it doesn't work. So when you can go with hypnosis back to the moment, the first time he said you were a bottle, that was the imprint. And awaken what is saved as well, that he would kneel down. And by hypnosis, make it living like it would be, like it was real. That will change. That's a method I often apply. It's very successful. People change themselves. That's perfect. That's the way it should be.
So it's not completely magic.
No, not at all. They are living it like it was real. That's important. Knowledge does not help. Yeah, for some time it does help, but you will fall back to the old behavior like before, because you're not really changed. And if somebody wants a good therapy, he wants to change something. He wants to become another person, a new person that feels well.
So I guess the misconception of people doing unwanted stuff during hypnosis is not true.
No, they have seen the show before. They know what he's doing, and they want to appear in TV. So when they go there, they are already in trance. He doesn't have to hypnotize them. He just chooses, he must see which one are in trance, and he chooses those. And they know when he snips with the finger, they have to creep on the floor or something like that, and they will do it because they want it. If they don't want it, they will not do it. It's not possible. And then he is like a musician. He does magic. He makes people who watch TV make them believe that he has the power to make him creep on the floor. And that's not true. That's the magic part of it. And afterwards, they feel miserable. Show hypnosis is forbidden in many European countries just because of that. If they have a flashback, he is not a psychologist. He doesn't know what to do. And such things have happened. I know one who did stage hypnosis, and he was in prison. But I wouldn't do that anymore. Never again, he said.
Yeah, thank you. I never thought that show hypnosis would be so dangerous.
Well, it can be dangerous.
It can, yeah.
Depends on the person. When the person has some problems and psychic problems and comes there, he doesn't know. And then it may happen. Fortunately, it's rather rare.
Thank you for the discussion about show hypnosis and hypnotherapy. Can you maybe share life experience that you had that was initially not desired, but then became a crucial asset to your current lifestyle?
Yes. Yes. I ran this company of my father, and I was very unhappy. And it was so stressing. And well, as I was the boss, I had to do all the bad things, and the good things were to the employees. And there were times I could have thrown my telephone out of the window. It was so much stress. And then finally, I had a heart attack. It was too much. And I had to change something. And I started changing. I was away from the company for almost a year with about 15 employees. And that was very unhealthy for the company. I lost everything. I lost the company. I lost my money. In the first half year, it was so, yeah, I lost a lot of money. Of course, I wasn't there. And my wife, I was married then. I'm not anymore. For her, security, financial security was very important. And she was not sure if I could provide it anymore. So I lost my wife, I lost my family, I lost my money, I lost everything. And I had to find something to earn money to make my living. And I tried many things. I had, all in all, I had 8 professions. And nothing worked. Destiny always said, no, this is not for you. I felt like a torero in the arena, and all the doors he could escape were closed. And one opened. I had a practice in psychology 10 years back. And all of a sudden, there were phone calls. I worked in an office, and I had phone calls. Don't you remember my name? No, should I? Yes, my wife came to your office to practice, and she went very well, very fast. May I come as well? Oh, I'm sorry, I don't do that anymore. And yeah, so it's a pity. And then it took only 2 or 3 weeks. I had another call like that. I said, oh, Destiny is calling me. Let's restart. Yeah, that was it. Destiny showed me this is what you should do. And then I started. The company was working for my living to make my living. They it collapsed. I had my job wasn't there anymore. I had to do something. So destiny was forcing me to do it. And since then, I always try to hear what destiny wants from me. And if you go with that flow, things work well. If you go against that flow, things won't work. It's an energy. Go with the energy. So that's what I'm trying to do now. Listen to destiny, see the signs. There are always signs, but we ignore them. And life teaches sometimes not to ignore them anymore. That's what life has taught me.
Thank you. That was, yeah, that's really impressive that you turned something bad, such as a heart attack, into something so good. So
I started this my new office for psychology to practice now about 25 years ago. We started it. When I started, it took half a year to reach the break even. Then I knew this is the correct way. This is the way I have to go. And now I'm very happy with it. It's my destiny. I have to help people, and I have accepted it. And as I have accepted it, at the moment I accepted it, I started enjoying it really very, very much. I enjoy it. It's, yeah. it's the best way it is like now.
The last thing was that you said a lot of people wanted to come back because, or not come back, but suggested to their friends and family that they should come see you because it was fast and effective. What if the person that comes to see you doesn't open up in just a few sessions?
Well, this is really very rare. I don't know, in a way, people just, they trust me. I've never cheated anyone, and I wouldn't. I know a person who told me something that is really a secret. And a secret is a secret if the person knows it and hasn't told anybody. If two persons know it, it's no secret anymore. But it would be very bad anyone would know that. So we became enemies. Although I know things that would, I I know things who would do her damage, that person. And we are enemies. I wouldn't tell anybody about it. Although we are enemies, I will keep the secret. If this person doesn't trust me and thinks I would tell and would be faster and tells from herself, then okay, but I will not. That's for me, it's impossible. I just cannot do it. So people feel that and they trust me very fast. Sometimes it's very rare. A person came to me and said, Switzerland is not a state. It's a company. And it's, yeah, she had crazy ideas. And I didn't agree. And the person felt it. And she said, I mean, that's not the place I should be. I will not come anymore. I said, yes, we have very different opinions. I think it's better you don't come. I just accept it. And the person feels it herself and then stays away. That's okay. But it happened, well, once in 10 years.
So, do you have any difficult cases?
If it's difficult, it's because I don't know how to treat it. It's my fault. And I have to continue listening what the person says. And all of a sudden, there is a solution. If I listen carefully, I know the solution will appear. And sometimes I really don't know what the solution would be. What should I do with this person? And after 20 minutes, oh, asking questions and listen to the answers. Very important. It shows the solution. If it doesn't, ask one more question. I'm very confident I will find the solution. I'm always very confident. And it shows up anyway. If I don't see it, it's because I'm too stupid. I can't resolve everything, of course. When it's something I must say, well, I have no solution for them and see it immediately. Then I say it. I'm sorry. You should go to another therapist. It's not my field. Yeah, you have to be straight, honest. Makes both lose time and money, and that's not the sense of the thing. Keep it short. It happened that I have sent somebody away, and I even didn't take money. Said, no, it's my fault. I cannot help you. Doesn't cost anything.
We have reached a time limit or should come to an end.
Okay.
So I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, and thank you for your patience when I didn't find the words.
No worries. I have the same problem sometimes.